Hello and welcome. Hi. As per usual, thank you all for being here. I see my mom is tuning in. Hi, Mom. I love you. Thank you for being here. And I have someone, G. Sherlock. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to stay unmuted. Our wonderful, the incomparable Alexandra's going to take care of the chat for me. Alexandra, just FYI, all you messaged me was share this link, and that was it. There's nothing attached to it. There it is. All right, and then after this, I can't worry about that because it's not my job to. So with that said, welcome friends, hello. If you are tuning in and you are connected, can I get some sort of whoop whoop or a thumbs up or a raise the roof emoji that you can see me and hear me okay? And we are being recorded. Thank you, Alexandra, just FYI. So you are more than welcome to continue to tune in, cameras off. And I'm going to get us started here in about 30 seconds. And with that said, I'm going to continue to play with where the laptop is. I am currently on the Upper West Side in Manhattan, New York City. I recently moved, but I don't have my Wi-Fi set up, so I am graciously being allowed to use the balcony of my dear friends. And maybe if I can convince Tom Ford to come out, that's the big, beautiful, all-white husky that lives here. So we'll convince Tom Ford to come join us in a dog or a downward dog pose. Hi, and welcome. Thank you for being here. And if you don't mind, if you would be so compelled to just throw into the chat where you're tuning in from. Love to see that. Janae, my dear, dear, beautiful sister from another mister tuning in. Janae, welcome, dear friend. And I hope that the amazing Sonia is with you.
Hi, she is.
Beautiful. Hi, friends. They are two remarkable individuals out of Houston, Texas. Janae is one of the literal best yoga teachers I've ever taken from. And I would do everything in my power to make her class in Houston. And Sonia, her wonderful, wonderful partner, is an Army vet. And so she and I connected, being veterans of the armed forces. Go Navy, beat Army. Hi, Gina. Thank you for being here.
Hey!
So you are welcome to keep camera off, tune in, listen in. The first 15 minutes, and we're going to get started here in about 60 seconds. It's just a simple check-in. We're going to body scan, breathwork. Gina, thank you for being here. And welcome from Central New York. I'm so happy that you are with us. So with that said, may I invite you, my friends, to just take a comfortable seat. And so for those of you who aren't aware, my name is Ceasar F. Barajas. I am a 7-year U.S. Navy veteran, one of the national ambassadors and master teachers for the Veterans Yoga Project. And I met this wonderful crew back in 2015. And here we are entering our second decade of existence as an organization. I'm entering my 8th year of service. And I literally credit VYP with saving my life. And so I want to thank you all for your support. If nothing else, like the financial support is important, but if nothing else, can you just tell your friends, tell your family, tell people that you talk to on the street, hey, there's an organization that enables veterans of all skill levels, all ages, all genders, all sexual orientations to feel welcomed so that they can come into a place where they are guided from a trauma-informed, here's the kicker, healing-centered place. So again, not just trauma-informed, friends, healing-centered. It saved my life. And with that, may I invite you to take a deep breath with me. One of the 5 pillars that we have built our modalities on is gratitude. And so over the course of the next 8 to 9 minutes, I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable position, whether it's stillness or you're walking around, enjoying the park, Please feel free to connect to who you are and where you are. And as the body begins to find a comfortable place, can you allow it to simply breathe? No rhyme, no reason, just giving the body a chance to A, step off of the hamster wheel of life. B, give the body an opportunity to take a break. And so even if you are walking, which is included in a movement type of meditation, if you're walking, maybe you slow down. Maybe you give the body a chance to simply do everything and anything but run around in a frenzied pace. And may I invite you to begin to deepen the breath. And as you deepen the breath, can you imagine how it comes into your body? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe it's in through the nose, out through the nose. But take the next several moments and find whatever form of conscious breath work works best for you. May I invite you to bring the shoulders a little further away from the ears? Is it possible to, if you feel safe and comfortable, allow the gaze to soften? And the body be in a position to simply exist. Can wherever you are seated or standing or walking become the only thing that's focusable on? Looking at the ground, hearing the sounds. If your eyes are open, noticing textures or colors, hearing the sounds of the city that's 13 stores below me here in New York. Maybe it's the quiet of the countryside. And as you continue to breathe in deeply, freely, may the breath become affectionate filled. May the air that comes into your body be filled with love for yourself, your community, your family, all the homies and all the peeps. Can your body simply exist? Then sending out that love to those who surround you, who you may not know. Ooh. If this world doesn't need some more love, So as you continue to sit or find stillness, in the next 5 breaths, be 5 of the biggest, deepest breaths you've taken yet today. Allowing for the inhale to bring the top of the chest to rise, the rib cage to expand, the belly to inflate like a small balloon. And then simply release. Breathing in, beginning to relax the mind. Breathing out, calming and healing the body. Knowing that as we breathe in, the body will naturally do it. Our body's respiratory system you have voluntarily control over. So may I invite you to breathe in And for the final 2 breaths, extend the exhale twice as long. Breathing in one more time to allow for some sort of audible sound on the way out. Oh. If you are in a position to make your way to your mat, we are going to flow for a short time period. Again, all levels welcome. We are going to focus in on where I am. Enjoying a very cool and brisk evening here in New York City. Thank you again. Finding a comfortable position in child's pose, or AKA our victory pose. One of the most rejuvenative and restorative poses. I'm gonna let my knees come out nice and wide, extending the arms out in front of me, forehead relaxing on the ground. And because I don't have the capacity to show the adaptive modification for this on a chair, if you wish to remain seated, you can also do these by pressing hands against the wall. And so I'll demonstrate as much of the modifications as I can. And as you find yourself coming into a place, what we're essentially trying to do is stretch through the entire upper body. How many of us have been in front of a computer all day? I have. And again, if the sounds of the city become too much, let me know. Wave at me or let me know you can't hear me, and I'll be happy to come back. And so from that child's pose, victory pose, arms extended out, just giving the body a chance to explore movements. Can we actively press the hands into the ground or the mats or your towel? If needed, you are welcome to take pillows or couch cushions and put them in between the belly and the tops of the thighs. And so I'm going to ask you to then come into a tabletop position. If it's too much to be on the wrists, you are welcome to take and create fists on the ground. And we're going to move through some meow moves. And so the idea is to create the shadow of a cow. So as we come into cow pose and pressing belly to floor, what we're going to do is stretch through that spine. As you tuck in the chest, can you imagine chin to chest and rounding out your shoulders like a cat that's saying, yo, what's up? And so as we move through these cat cows, starting to find a stretch through that spine. And then explore the movements. The dancer in me honors the dancer in you. So feel free to send the hips back towards the heels. Feel free to find the body staying in a particular pose longer than a few breaths. One last time, tucking chin to chest. And then I'm going to ask you to very lovingly roll back onto curled toes, keeping my hands on the ground for balance. I'm just going to start to waken up the bottom of my feet. And so as I invite you to do the same, can you come into a place where you're cognizant, you're aware that these feet, that have carried you for all of these years, have marched and humped through fields, carried packs, carried you through life, either by choice or you had to go through the muck. And so we're going to roll through these ankles very gently. What we're going to do is we're going to start our foundational base of self-love here at the bottom, at our feet that's connected directly to the Mother Earth. And so as you roll through the ankles, maybe you play a moment or two with some balance. I've got a wall nearby for support. Maybe you've got a chair. And then eventually coming into a forward fold, keeping a heavy bend in the knees, letting the hands and the arms hang heavy. Maybe coming into ragdoll where the hands grab opposite elbows. And then take your time, slowly making your way to stand up. As you find yourself taking your time to unravel from your pelvis, your lower back, your middle back. Can the arms and the hands remain heavy? Can the chin stay onto your chest until the very last thing that comes up are shoulders and then our head? I'm going to shift this camera. I'm going to invite you to stand in our mountain pose, our majestic mountain pose, finding the body, firmly planting the feet, extending the hands out at our sides, allowing for the fingertips to spread nice and wide. And can we forcefully allow the hands to come towards the ground, purposely stretching the shoulders away from the ears. And then we stand here for just a moment. A mountain never apologizes for casting shadows. The sun never apologizes for brightening your day or shining the light in your eyes. Why should you ever? So stand here with the brightness that comes from within you as this beautiful mountain pose and just shine. Take the next deep breath in. Feel the shoulders rise on the inhale. On the exhale, allow them to roll back and behind you. And then spend the next half a dozen reversing direction. So you're rolling up to roll forward. And maybe you find a way to connect breath to movement here, movement to breath. As always, inviting extra movements or creating sounds. Maybe adding some very gentle head and neck rolls. And then over the course of the next 3 to 4 breaths, can we just find some movement? Like really opening and closing hands, flexing through the feet. If you were seated in your chair, can we just find every muscle in your body tensing up? So the idea is to mimic making faces at someone. Oh, I'd love to see your cameras on if you want to make faces back at me. What I'm doing is I'm loosening tension. Tension, I see you. Thank you, Sonia and Janae. So what we're doing here is finding ways to release the tension that has a tendency to build in the majority of people around the head, neck, and shoulders. And so as we start with the face and we're moving through, we're then allowing the eyes to simply rest in their sockets. May I invite you to open and close that beautiful jaw of yours. Cool, maybe we throw in a lion's breath. And then relax. Anytime you create an audible sound, you're giving the neck, the muscles within the jaw, up into the top of the shoulders, a chance to relax. So now our shoulders are loose, arms are loose, opening and closing the hands. Can we stick out our belly and then let it relax? So that when we breathe in, there's no softening, there's no tightening anywhere. All softening. And that release also means giving your body a chance to release through the pelvis and through the groin. Can you imagine the legs relaxing? And as you stand here, this can happen anywhere. Waiting for the train, standing in line to vote, exercising that right, in the midst of a difficult conversation with your partner or coworker, trying to find the patience to deal with the kids. Just breathe. Because what I've been instructed to do is go through a yoga flow. But this, my friends, is yoga. Me waiting on the train, knowing that I've got 15 minutes to get to downtown Brooklyn. I can breathe. That's yoga. That's the pranayama. That's the essence of your body's energy flow. So with that said, may I invite you to take 2 more breaths. And I lovingly join you. And on the next inhale, our arms reach up overhead. On that exhale, I'm going to very gently bend through the knees and allow the body to just fold over. And then I'm going to make my way to standing. So over the course of the next 5 of these, we are very gently, in a very exploratory fashion, going to ask you to inhale to reach up, Maybe the focus goes with you. And then maybe the hands come to the top of the thighs as you simply roll into a forward fold and then roll out of the forward fold to come back to standing, to repeat this 3 more times at your pace. Please take all the time in the world. Maybe it's several breaths to bring the arms up overhead. Maybe it's up on your tippy toes for just a brief moment. Maybe it's allowing the body in the very opposite fashion in which the world expects you to move, to slow motion. Find yourself rolling into the forward fold. You got 2 more on your own. I'll see you in just a moment. And as we roll into the last one, I'm going to ask you, if you're already at 5, to do 1 more while I explain what's going on here. Purposely slowing down, purposely moving at the opposite of which the world expects you to, is starting a decompression. The mere fact that you're thinking about your breath is giving the body an opportunity to start a calming effect. Ooh, here's something for you. Shake that out. Come back to wherever you're standing or seated and allow one hand to come to heart center, one hand across the belly. And can you find something that feels a little bit like gratitude to flow through you? Finding your physical heart beating. Ooh, can you take again a moment to just acknowledge you, the work that you've done to get to this point right here, the service that you provided to this country, the service that you provided just as a global citizen. Yo, all of you are to be recognized and celebrated and loved and honored, and all of you are. And the mere act of finding a regular gratitude practice also releases the same positive neurochemicals that are released during exercise and or sex. So imagine the flow of endorphins, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. All of that can happen, just by saying thank you. Thank you. Who are you thanking? I thank you. I thank me. I thank Alexandra. I thank Janae. I thank Gina. I thank Sonia. I thank my mom. I thank Heather. I thank everyone who's going to tune in and watch this later. I thank you. Can you thank you? Can you thank somebody else? And on the next deep breath in, allow the arms to reach up overhead, coming back into that forward fold. We are going to continue with some sun salutations. So in that forward fold, when you are ready, if you are ready, can you allow the hands to walk out and come into our first downward facing dog? What this is an upside down V. I'm sending my hips straight to the sky, letting my head relax. And notice how I'm finding movements. Finding a stretch through the hips. Ooh. And so when you're ready, my friends, can you roll the body out to a high plank, giving the body a chance to rest either on the hands and the feet, or you come to your knees. Modifications are signs of wisdom, not weakness. And we're just going to hold here just for a moment. Start to feel that tension fire up in the belly. Can we imagine that you're about to get tickled? Imagine that you're tied up and you're getting tickled. Oh, what does that feel like? That's the tension. But at the same time, we're maintaining that tension. We also want to breathe deeply and freely. So that's part of the balance, and that's part of your work. I can't teach you to do that. What I can tell you is if you breathe deeply and you still maintain tension, you're still giving the body this beautiful workout. Can we, from the feet or the knees, allow the body to slowly begin to lower, tucking elbows into the ribs, coming to lay directly onto your belly, creating a little pillow with your hands. I'm going to rest my chin, and I'm just going to let my legs windshield wiper lazily from left to right. This is an awesome pose to also come to in the middle of the day if you're feeling any kind of tension in your lower back. It's a nice way to say to the body, hey, I see you, and I recognize you, and I celebrate you, and I love you, and I'm going to give you a quick break. All we need is a few moments. And so as you continue to breathe deeply and freely, 1 or 2 more windshield wipers, pushing the body back through child's pose. Can we allow the hips to fly back to the heels? Can we curl the toes, send the body up into a downward facing dog? Can we walk our feet to our hands or our hands to our feet? May I invite you to lovingly, slowly take your time to rise up. Inhale as the arms reach up overhead. You get a nice shot of my toes. Coming back into that forward fold. We're going to finish this sun salutation and move into some more flows. Inhale by creating a flat back. So what I'm doing here is letting my hands rest on the tops of my thighs so that I could lay a plate of cookies on my back and not spill them. Take a deep breath in. Many of you who did serve, you're very familiar with push-up pose, push-up position. And then give the body a chance either from the feet or your knees to slowly lower, taking your time to lower your entire body to the ground. Let's come into a baby cobra. So letting your hips and heels rest on the mat, very gently pushing up through the hands. And then I'm going to come back down and I'm going to widen the stance of my hands. I'm going to roll out east and west about 4 or 5 inches. And I'm going to roll up once again, maybe coming up a little higher, maybe adding a general twist. Ooh, now's a good time to talk about twists. Twists help to detoxify the body. They're excellent to help firm the belly as well as help in digestion. We're going to come down to the belly one more time, widen the hands out. And on your next exhale, take your time, slowly coming up to what we call a modified baby cobra. And so as you continue to sit with that, can we look over the left shoulder? I'm going to allow my friend Emily in here, even though we're just a few minutes behind. Welcome. I hope this is Julie and Emily watching together. Nice wide stance. And as you come up again, we're talking about just finding a way to stretch through the spine. Find some relief, potentially through the lower back. And then as you take your time, go ahead and come on back down to the ground. Coming through the child's pose, bending through the knees, sending your hips back towards your heels. I'm going to curl the toes. I will meet you all in a downward facing dog. Once you come up into that upside down V, please be mindful. I lovingly refer to these as upside down tacos because tacos are life, friends. Can we take a deep breath in as that right leg reaches up into the sky? I'm going to place it in between my hands and I'm going to get ready to come up into our warrior number 1. Ooh, the warrior poses are some of my favorites. So as you come up into warrior 1, we don't need to see my head. What I'm going to emphasize is where our feet go. So can we come into a place where that front right foot is pointing north and south? Back left foot is at about 45 degrees. But notice how I'm not turned sideways. So can we shift so that hips, belly, chest, shoulders are all facing front? Feel free to bring the arms up overhead. Maybe the hands come to the sides of your hips like a little sassy teenager. How many of you were sassy teenagers growing up? I definitely was a sassy teenager, right, Mom? My mom will tell you. You know this in our Zoom chat. Rebecca Barajas, that's my mom. I'm calling her out. She'll tell you I was a handful. Whew, even after the military. Anyways, I digress. Coming back to Warrior 1. Can we shift so that everything is facing front? And so from here, we're going to bend even further into that right knee. And this is a strong position. We're not doing anything other than standing here, but yet we're working to distribute the weight evenly. We're keeping the core tight. Remember, tight up and tickled. And allow the arms to reach up overhead. And then on your next exhale, bring the hands down to frame that front right foot. Kick that right foot back to meet the left. Meet me in downward facing dog. We're going to roll directly out to high plank. We're going to take a deep breath in and slowly lower the body, coming down into halfway lift or low plank, maybe belly to the ground. Inhale into your heart opener of choice. Maybe that's an upward facing dog or a baby cobra. And then giving the body a chance to meet me back in downward facing dog, however you choose to get there. So can we flip the script? Yo, let's flip. Left leg comes up, left leg comes through the heart center, and then we check placement. And so what we're looking for is to ensure that our left ankle is in line with our left knee. And so I do that by checking to see where it is, like you're literally looking at your own body. And so as I come up into my warrior one, I know that I have to adjust my stance for this. This side is different for me than the first side. So is this side different for you? Just take note of that. And so the beauty of yoga is that it also literally means a union. Yoga is the Sanskrit word for a union between you, that's you, the mat, that's the earth, and our breath. That's it. It doesn't have to look like your neighbors. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's. So as you adjust your warrior one, maybe the hands go in a different place. Maybe you add a bit of an arch. Maybe you clasp the hands behind the back. Honestly, you can do whatever you want as long as you're breathing, as long as you're on your mat or on the ground, anywhere, you're practicing. And that's why it's a practice. Here we go, friends. One more deep breath in. On the exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame that front left foot. Curl the back right toes. Kick the left foot back to meet the right from your high plank. Slowly lower all the way to the ground or chaturanga, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. And then I will meet you lovingly in downward facing dog. Shall we add on? Shall we? Take a deep breath in, friends. Right leg comes up into the air. On the exhale, can we bring that right knee through the heart center? And I'm going to ask you to bring the left knee down. We're just going to find a moment here. If this is too much for you, you need extra cushioning, feel free to roll that left side of your mat over. If you've got a pillow or additional support, feel free to grab that. We're just going to talk about where the body is in this position. Just stretching through the front of that hip, often known as the psoas. And so if I lift my shirt, you can see I've got this leg planted, but I'm not overly pushing my body over. Nope. What I'm doing is creating a tall spine here. If it's in your wheelhouse and you're okay too, go ahead and bring that right hand to reach for the ground. But notice I'm not actually trying to touch the ground. I'm just reaching for it so that my left arm can then reach up overhead. And as I do that, I'm finding the stretch through, again, the upper left side of my body. Woo! And if you give the body a chance to tilt left shoulder back and behind you some, it increases the stretch. And so what I'd love for you to do is play with how this affects you. Because you could do the same exact thing sitting in a chair or standing up. And again, we live in a world that expects us to hunch over computers, hunch over desktops, hunch over our clinical notes after a surgery, hunch over the phone so that we can answer the calendar invite. You see how activated I am? Let me breathe. Go back to the breath. And then when you're ready, relax that left hand down. If you are still propped up on that right foot and left knee, take a moment here to just relax through. What we're going to do is just stretch through the front of that right leg. If this is too much for you, you are welcome yet again to find yourself in a seated position and just extend that right leg out. And then feel where that stretch through the right hamstring starts to occur. I honestly wish I had all the time to show every single modification because there's hundreds of variations and they're all dependent on you and whatever it is that you want. So let's switch sides, shall we? May I invite you please to come back to a upside down taco, because tacos are life, especially breakfast tacos, filled with papa con frijol, that's potatoes with beans, yummy. I'm from Texas, y'all, so it's hard to claim Texas right now, but Texas does have awesome breakfast tacos. The rest of the state's in disarray, but that's a whole other story. Downward facing dog, friends. Here we go. Left leg comes up in the air. On the inhale or exhale, you bring that left knee through the heart center, planted in between your knees in the same way that we check the alignment in our Warrior One. We're just going to let that right knee come down. Feel free to either sit in the chair, and we're going to find the stretch to the other side of our body. So my left hand is going to reach for the ground, not necessarily aiming to touch it. Right arm is going to reach up overhead. Ooh, and I can feel immediately how different this side is. Does this side feel less flexible or stronger? And just take note of that. That's another thing I love about yoga, is that yoga, in the midst of the flow, whether I'm in Janae's class or I'm in Alexandra's, I get a chance to directly link to my own body. So as you continue to stretch, what I mean is that I know on this side I'm typically tighter. I'm right-handed dominant. These are all things that flow through my mind in the middle of class. So what's going on is you scan yourself as you check in with what you and your body are doing. Ooh, yeah. And then I'm going to find ourselves extending and stretching through that left leg. So whether the left leg is extended from the chair or you're on the ground, flowing back and forth. I'm going to give myself at least 2 more here. And then we're going to put all of that together. So part of yoga is also what we call the asanas. It's one of the branches of yoga. It means the movements. And so now we're going to connect all these movements. We've been highlighting them and showing you. And so if this is new for you or this is your first yoga class, oh my gosh, thank you, welcome. I found yoga 25 years ago to rehab a back injury. It was strictly fitness for me for almost 2 decades until I met VYP. And so what we're going to do is put it all together and see if you can just concentrate on the breath, the sound of my voice, the way the body moves, and whether you do the flow or not, doesn't matter. You're already winning by just showing up. So may I invite you to meet me in an upside down breakfast taco of your choice. And in the chat, at some point, I would love to hear what your breakfast tacos of choice are. Yes, we will have an open discussion about breakfast tacos, because that's how I do in my classes. From your downward facing dog, may I invite you, please, as you slowly walk your feet to your hands, come into your forward folds. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Take your time rising up as you come to stand, planting both feet evenly on the ground. Inhale as the arms reach up overhead. On the exhale, may I invite you to forward fold over, bending through the knees, mimicking exactly what we've already done here. Inhale as we create a flat back. So my hands are going to the tops of my thighs, or if you have the flexibility, the tops of the shins, creating the flat back, planting my hands on the ground for a push-up pose. I'm gonna let this siren fly by. Yep, we're holding the plank. New York City, I love it. Take a deep breath in, friends. On your exhale, slowly lower to low plank or belly to the ground. Inhale into your upward facing dog or baby cobra. And on your exhale, I'll meet you back in downward facing dog, however you choose to get there. Inhale as that right leg comes up in the air. Exhale as you bring it through the center. And as you're adjusting your body, we're at the same time coming up into Warrior One. Inhaling to breathe, don't forget. Hips, shoulders, chest, all facing front. Decide where you want your hands to go. Let's go nice and wide, as if we're saying, yo, I got you, world. Carry me and I can carry you. Breathing in. On your exhale, allow the hands to come back to frame that front right foot. Right foot will then kick back to meet the left. We're going to go directly from a high plank straight into downward facing dog. Left leg will come up into the air. Left leg on your exhale comes through the heart center, placing that hand around that front left foot, checking the alignment, left knee in line with left ankle, stepping in slightly so that my back right foot is at 45 degrees. Left foot pointing north and south. This time I'm going to take my arms, I'm going to cactus them out. So what I'm doing is just giving my body a chance to tuck the elbows into the ribs. Breathe as my shoulder blades get pulled down. Then we're going to take a deep breath in, inhaling as the arms reach up. And on your exhale, cartwheeling the hands down to the ground to frame that front left foot. And you saw that I fell over, and that's what happens sometimes. And we're going to lower from high plank to low plank or belly to the ground, keeping elbows tucked into the ribs, inhaling into your upward facing dog or baby cobra. And just a quick note, the difference between upward facing dog and baby cobra is that in upward facing dog, my hips and my thighs are actually floating off the ground. More to explain later. We'll do that next class. Meet me back in downward facing dog, por favor. Inhaling as the arms reach up. I beg your pardon, as that left leg reaches up. As we come through that heart center, planting that right foot, left heel comes down, left knee comes down. Inhaling to reach up. Right hand is reaching for the floor, stretching through that left side. Do me a favor and take your left fingertips, place them slightly behind the left ear. And we're just gonna open and twist a few times. So imagine that left elbow coming to the top of the right knee. Inhaling as we open up, and I'm pressing firmly my right forearm into the inside of my right knee, just to give my body that extra stretch. Like I've been in front of the computer all day, recording sessions. I had an interview this morning. And so I'm feeling the effects of my body being hunched over my computer. And I don't do that every day. So those of you that do it every day, bless your hearts. This is an awesome way to give the body a break. Last one. Bring the hands down to frame that front right foot. Curl the back left toes. Kick that right foot back to meet the left. Come into your push-up pose. From here, send the hips up into the air, downward facing dog. So I'm from Texas, we say dog. Left leg comes up in the air on the inhale. On your exhale, can you plant that left foot in between your hands? Right knee comes down to the ground. Left hand is reaching for the floor. Right arm is reaching up. And I'm going to take those right fingertips just slightly behind my right ear. And then I'm going to breathe as I bring right elbow to the top of left knee, pressing my left arm firmly to the inside of my left knee as I open up at least 3 to 4 times. So whatever you did the first time, may I invite you please to do the same thing. See some of the backgrounds there. I know some of you are tuning in from out of the country. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So delighted to see you. And last one, go ahead and find the body, framing the front left foot. Left foot then kicks back to meet the right. High plank, push up, hold. Take a deep breath in, friends. On your exhale, slowly lower all the way to the ground. We're gonna repeat our windshield wiper action, bending at the knees, creating a pillow with your hands, either resting your forehead or chin on those hands, and then just let the legs very lazily windshield wiper back and forth. And notice my legs don't even touch the ground. This isn't about like, can my legs touch the ground or can I come into a full split? No, it's about finding what works best for you. That's another one of the beautiful reasons why I love yoga. Yoga then becomes my own practice. How can I adjust it according to my own body's needs, which then vary from time to time, day to day. So from where you are, meet me back into a victory pose, either knees together or knees nice and wide. Come into a place where you let your forehead rest on the ground. And then we're going to eventually make our way to standing to spend the final portion of our class. But not without just giving our body a chance to breathe again, breathe even more. And so while you're sitting there or you're resting, I'm going to insert some fun facts about the respiratory system. Again, it didn't make sense for me until I met the Veterans Yoga Project, why the body reacts the way that it does. And so it's now become the basis of my teachings and my existence as an instructor, as a guide, as a healer. But every single time you breathe in, you're giving your body an opportunity to activate its fight or flight system. That's the sympathetic nervous system. So as you come into a relaxed state right now, breathe in, please. So your body right now is like, yo, what are we gonna do? Who do we gotta fight? Who do we gotta run away from? And it's only when we exhale with control, exhaling with consciousness, that we then activate the body's rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. And so for many of you who understand what I'm talking about, this is the direct activation of the vagal nerve. The vagal nerve is the largest nerve in the body. It's the nerve that's connected to every single organ in the body. And so as we extend the exhale, may I invite you to breathe in and then exhale twice as long. That's your body telling your nervous system, yo, we good. Even when the situation isn't okay, your body can be. And if your body can be, then you're then in a position to respond to all of this. How many of us feel like we live still in the midst of all of this? I do. Every single day. I live in New York, for Christ's sake. I'm activated all of the time. And because I get to breathe, because I get to relax my shoulders, because I get to take several deep breaths in and out, no one gets to say so in how I do that. So with that said, may I invite you to slowly make your way to standing, however that looks for you. And as we come to stand up, we'll spend the final few minutes here highlighting some very awesome balancing type of details. And so as you stand wherever you are in the world, can I get you to take up space? So imagine Warrior 2. I often share with people, take up the space. And then I want you to take up the space beyond your mat. I want you to take up the space. I want you to create your footprint on this earth, because Lord, do we need you. Take up space. Walk around, please, like you're 7 feet tall. Whether you're 5'5" or not, you are. You're infinite. You are this vastness. So as you take up the space, find yourself coming into a comfortable standing position. Once again, breathing in and then shaking everything out. Can I invite you to come up on your toes? And as you come up on your toes, notice there's some weebling, some wobbling, some teetering, some tottering. And so play with that, continue to. Can you come up on the toes and then lean so far forward that you actually fall? I keep moving my mat. Can you come up on the toes or rock back on the heels until you fall backwards? And then we're going to do the same thing going side to side. Can you come up and lean? Think Michael Jackson. Hee hee. Smooth Criminal video. See if I go the other side. And so the point I'm making is wherever you are, as you fall forward, backward, side to side, my friends, focus in on what I'm about to say. You have room. You don't have to remain steadfast. Every single earthquake-proof building on this planet has to sway. Every single tree moves with the wind. You don't have to remain in a state of vigilance or stillness because someone else says so, or your job demands it, or your partner says, nope, 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 nope. So find ourselves rocking back and forth, coming up on the toes, find that balance. And let's shift to one leg, doing the exact same thing. Just picking up that foot, maybe 5 or 6 inches from the ground. Maybe you kick it out sideways. Maybe you kick it back and behind you. For many of you who are a part of the dancer world, you'll recognize this as ballet work. Yes, for many of you who aren't aware, I am also a professional ballerina. I have been a dancer since I was 15 years old. But what I'm doing is highlighting the fact that you have all of this range of movement You have all of this range of motion. So can you play with standing solely on the left leg? And of course, we have things recognizable like tree pose. We have standing Shivas. We have a variety of things. And so as you play with what the balance is, can you just give the body a chance to activate those stabilizing muscles in the left foot, around the left toes, through the ankle, the knees, the hips, through the core, and then relax, shaking that left leg out. Now let's notice the difference if we go to the other side. Maybe it's stronger, maybe it's less flexible, but the whole point is that it's always going to vary. V-A-R-Y. It is always going to be some semblance of a difference. And so as I play with this, because I've had this ankle injured and re-injured over the years, I don't feel as confident standing on this leg, and I'm on a mat, and I'm on this astroturf. So I'm fighting as opposed to my left leg. So can you give yourself, through the practice of yoga, through the practice of just simply breathing, an opportunity to shift as you take one step forward onto the next, and you progress on your particular journey of life? Let me dance back on over here. So that's the highlight. I would love for you to just alternate standing knee raises. And this happens thousands of times in your lifetime. If you're a New Yorker, it happens thousands of times in a day by walking. As you walk, you're giving your body a chance to find moments of balance. Can you equate those moments of balance with how you live life? Giving yourself a chance to breathe deeply. Can you be a little more graceful towards yourself? Can you give yourself a little more leeway? So finding stillness, standing in our majestic mountain pose. We are going to come into tree, because I can't talk about tree pose and not go into tree pose. Tree pose, one of the most recognizable poses. And the basis behind it is, yes, to consider the tree, to consider how the roots come from the trunk of your body into the ground. But more importantly, I believe that trees, as you find the left leg planting, either bringing that right foot up to create a kickstand on the inside of the left ankle, maybe that right foot comes into the inside of the left calf, or that right leg comes up to the inside of that left thigh. Wherever you choose to be, know that you can weeble and wobble, teeter and totter. And trees, my friends, create branches. So where are your branches? Are they out? Are they turned inward? Are they up and about, declaring to the vastness of the universe, yo, I got you, you got me. Wherever you decide to be, trees are the essence of life. They breathe, they grow, they decompose, they grow again. Sound familiar? Just like us. If you're in a comfortable position and you have people you can safely hug, hugging someone activates feel-good feelings. Guess what? Hugging a tree literally does the same thing. You remember the endorphins that were released just by doing gratitude work? The same thing happens hugging a tree. I promise you, I'm not making this up. Yes, I'm literally a tree-hugging hippie, and I love it. Take a deep breath in, coming out of that tree pose on that side. Now for this second side, I'm gonna let you just sit. I'm gonna shut up and just let you enjoy. Wherever you are, can you soak in, when you get ready for this tree pose, the sights, the sounds, the tastes, the smells? May I please invite you to do something absolutely different with your tree branches. As long as you're not pressing that left foot directly over that knee, we are in a good to go position. Breathe, friends, breathe. Oh, over the course of the next inhale and exhale, very slowly, very gently come out of that particular pose. Give the body a chance to find whatever movement it needs to reflect. And as you give the body a chance to breathe in, we're going to roll from a standing mountain pose to a forward fold and then back up again 3 more times to close the class, knowing that you have people tuning in from all over the world. Thank you for your time. I'll give closing remarks after our 3 unified breaths in, arms reaching up overhead. Use the exhale to slowly roll over. Inhale or 2 to rise up, arms reaching. Exhale to gently forward fold over. Last time all together, inhaling as you reach up. On the exhale, gently take your time folding over, and then take all the time in the world over the next 30 or 40 seconds to gently make your way to standing. In being respectful for people's times, we are approaching the end of the hour. Boo, hiss, I know. I've taken 3-hour yoga classes before, and I love it because the time flies, because we're having fun. So with that said, I'm wondering if we have any questions or concerns or comments or complaints or celebrations to share, because guess what? How often do we get to check in with each other and talk about that? I feel like I should be in some sort of Halloween video, Alexandra. This lighting is terrible. Whew, you see the bags under my eyes. What's up with that? Thank you. If you would like, please feel free to unmute, check in. I'd love to know how your heart and spirit are. If not, I want to say hello to my dear, dear, dear Julie. Look, Mom, Julie made it. Welcome. Thank you for being here. She is Julie, not Emily, as her name indicates. Emily is another dear friend of mine. Janae and Sonia, thank you. Heather, thank you. Gina in Central New York, thank you. To my moms, Rebecca Barajas, thank you. And again, friends, money's important, yes, but if you get a chance, more importantly, just talk to folks. People are like shocked that we exist. And we are, again, entering our 2nd decade of existence. And we've helped thousands of people all over the world. And the more we talk about it, the more hopefully people will pay attention. Sounds like advocating for people's equal rights, or advocating for women's rights, or advocating for the LGBTQIA2S+ community. Huh? Sounds a little bit like that. Don't stop voicing your concerns. Please be the voice for those who don't have the strength to utilize their own voice. Be the voice for the voiceless. All right, enough inspiration. Alexandra, I'm done. What else do we need to do?
No, you're great. Thank you so much, Ceasar. Of course, it was so fun as usual. It's always so nice to take a class with you and to see your smile. And hi, Mom. I'm glad to have seen you and met you a little bit. Hi, Mom. Everyone, thank you so much for supporting this class and in general, like he said, supporting Veterans Yoga Project. It means a lot to me personally as well. This nonprofit changed my life, and I'm not a veteran, but it changed my life 5 years ago. And here I am as the director of training programs, and everything is different and everything is better. And I'm just so appreciative of everyone's support just by being here. It's a big deal. So thank you. And you can join our website, join our newsletter, join our programs. If you know veterans who are interested in yoga classes, we have an app. It's free. If you know veterans who want to be yoga teachers, early next year, we're going to open applications and we're going to start the process of getting ready for our 3rd annual yoga teacher training. So please don't hesitate to email us with any questions or with any needs. We'd be happy to accommodate that at any time. So thanks.
I want to highlight this once again as we close this off. Alexandra mentioned she didn't serve. That families, friends, the communities of the military. If you're an American citizen, if you're a German citizen, if you're serving in the army in West Africa, you are still serving in some capacity. And so whether it's the partner or the spouse or the friend or the mom or the just someone who wants to volunteer their time, you are invaluable. Alexandria, you are invaluable, my beautiful friend. Thank you for everything that you do. We are so lucky to have you. And one of these days, I'm going to get to hug Alexandria in person. We've still yet, because of the last
We'll make it
2.5, 3
happen
years
one
of
day.
existence. I know. So at some point, we shall all gather together. I can't wait to be in Janae's class again in person. And so for everyone else, once again, thank you. Feel free to reach out to me directly as well, if not just the Veterans Yoga Project. I'm at Ceasar Barajas. And just hit me up. Friends, may the rest of the evening be amazing to you. I love you all. Thank you dearly for being here.